Yo, what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there, Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
I'm doing fine.
I love it.
In a good way.
Not fucked up, insecure, neurotic, emotional?
No, just mighty fine.
You are
mighty fine.
You are mighty fine.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, all you vipers out there. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. And Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. But before we do, don't forget to check out 8decades.com. Mrs. Weedman's baby has all the great stuff with 8 Decades and Weedman 420 Chronicles. All the good stuff. Smoke tray, grinder, steamroller, clothing, you name it, we got it. Check out 8decades.com. Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
We are smoking bubble gum because Big Earl came into town
Yay.
and brought a new strain, and I'm excited. Bubble gum. I have information about this, everyone. Bubble gum, which was originated in Indiana during the 1970s, the good old free state of Indiana, so much cannabis going on in that state, is an almost 80-20 split across indica and sativa dominance. The bubblegum indica dominant hybrid strain was created by crossing Indiana bubblegum with an unidentified indica cannabis strain. The strain was then taken to Amsterdam in order to clone and hybridize. It took several years to come up with the stable bubblegum strain with a typical sweet odor and euphoric high. The strain got its name for its smell, which is just like pink bubblegum. This strain was able to acquire a quick reputation for its sweetness. It has a mild taste with bubblegum flavor, both during inhale and exhale. The strain is a winner of several accolades and has been placed frequently in the High Times Cannabis Cup. The plant appears light green colored with several bright orange hair colors. The buds will look airy with a lot of crystals that appear snowy. This strain was, just sticky. Sticky, sticky, sticky. The strain will give classic effects of old school indica. Yay! Yay! Mr. Weedman is so excited. I'm so happy. Mrs. Weedman's so excited. Gonna be like shoving this down my throat. Patients with stress, anxiety, and tensions are found to have good results upon using this strain. Bubblegum also has the mood elevating property. Its effects: creative, euphoria, happy, relaxing, chronic pain, relief symptoms of chronic pain, depression, insomnia, nausea, and stress. That's awesome for you, Mrs. Weedman. Flavors are berry, bubblegum, creamy, fruity, and sweet. And aromas are bubblegum, floral, fruity, and sweet. I know your taste buds suck, but did you at least smell it? Does it smell nice?
It was, yes, there's a lot of odor to it, but I couldn't give you specifics.
That's okay.
But it did.
I'm going to taste it.
Smoke's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's great when Big Earl comes into town?
What?
Fucking phenomenal weed.
Yeah. It's always great to see him
we get to see
and his
Earl
wife.
And the 3 dogs.
Their dogs.
Oh, yeah.
They come and hang out in the backyard for a little bit and play with Yuki. Yeah, but there's always some great flower.
We get high, Earl gets us baked, and then he leaves. But it's always
someday we'll get to hang out longer than
it's always a special time when Big Earl comes into town. Ooh.
Yeah, farm to table. Good stuff. You like it?
Nice, I do.
It's tasty.
It's very tasty. Yeah. Nice job, Big Earl.
Yeah.
So,
yep,
we have some coming up September 7th. We'll be in Tilton, Illinois, the good old city of Tilton. That is along the Indiana border over there. And at Parkway Dispensary, we'll be doing an outing there with a bunch of, what is it called? I don't even know what it's called.
No, I don't know.
I don't know either. But all I know is at Tilton, Illinois at Parkway. Get your tickets.
Know.
Come check us out. We'll let you know in the next episode. Come check us out, though. We'll be out there hanging out with everybody, all the people in the scene.
Illinois News Joint is hosting it with Molly's Joint, which is a consumption space at the Parkway Dispensary. It's going to be all craft cultivators from the Illinois legal marketplace, and because this is being hosted at a dispensary property, and there will be vendors like 8 Decades there as well. So, believe September music 7th. And food trucks, and they have a beautiful
beer garden. Mm-hmm. It's a great spot. They have a consumption lounge, they have a restaurant, and they have a dispensary all on this property. And the beer garden is huge.
Beer? Like, actually, they serve beer?
Oh yeah, they have a full restaurant.
Oh,
yeah, full restaurant.
Yeah.
So, and out in the beer garden, it's beautiful. It's huge. So, come check us out. I think it goes from 12 to 7. On Saturday, September 7th, right? Yeah, we'll be out there. Come check us out. I'll be rolling doinks for everybody. And we'll mention it again on the next episode, too. Give everybody reminders. Hopefully see you out there. We were at a block party.
Yeah.
The South Side's known for their block parties here where we live at. And we were at a block party at a friend of ours' house. And it was probably like, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night. We were pretty stoned. And they brought out those little little glow sticks for the kids, to all the kids on the block, right? So we were like getting them open, the bags open, and we were cracking them, so shaking them up for the kids. And so a bunch of kids came and grabbed some. And then these 3 little ones, right? I would say between the ages of 4 and 6, came walking by, and I almost lost. I was laughing so hard at you because it was so funny. Because they come walking by, and you're talking to them, and they don't even see you, like John Cena.
No, I'm like completely invisible. I may have been mumbling because I was so stoned, but I thought I was speaking loudly.
It was like John Cena.
Yeah,
I don't see you. Like you're talking to him, going, "Oh, I got some string for you. I'll tie it around your neck." And they're just like blah 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 blah, and just grabbed their glow sticks and walked away. And I was like, they did not see you.
No, they did not.
They did not hear you. Did not see you.
And there was like invisible. A light. We were under a tent. Like
a couple porch lights and garage lights all around. They had
nothing. It just didn't matter.
They had nothing to do with Mrs. Weedman.
No.
I was laughing hysterical because I was so stoned too. And when I caught it, I think I was the only one that did catch it. And I thought it was so funny because you're just talking.
Did you see I don't exist. Like am I talking to nobody?
And we came to this conclusion because we were so stoned. We were like, we're at that age.
We're in limbo.
Yeah, we don't have grandkids and we don't have kids.
We're not cool anymore. Like we're too old to be like young and cool.
Relevant.
And we're too young to be well, we're not really by age too young to be grandparents, but we're not grandparents yet. So we're like in this limbo, like midlife limbo. And these little kids were just like, we don't apparently know how to talk to small kids anymore.
Right, and we had
like,
something to give them.
What's this lady saying to me?
Yeah, they're like,
I was like, I'm trying to help them put their freaking glow things on a cord so they don't have to hold them in their hands. And then the one little kid comes over and there's like a bag and he opens the bag and he just pulled like 12 glow sticks out and ran over to the curb. He was so excited. I'm like, dude, you just took them all.
That's why they don't want to talk to you, Mrs. Weedman.
I did not say anything to him. I said it to you. Like, hey, look at this little guy. You just snagged them all. You went over.
I went over and said, hey, yo,
you took too many.
You took 12. Give me 5. Give me 6 back. Hold on to 6. You can find. Give me 6 back for the other kids. And he gave me this like sharp scowl.
Like you ruined my moment.
Relax, yo. Don't be greedy. You ain't even a part of this family. Beat it.
Funny little
kid. Kids, it's just funny. It's just funny to me at that age. Like they don't see adults that they don't know.
Yeah. They just kind of like,
it's their parents,
it is a lot of times at that age. Yeah.
And that's it in their life. And if they see somebody they've never met before or don't know.
Like they don't know to talk to. They're like, weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. I kind of like me. I do that now as an adult. So I don't
You say, weird.
That too. But I walk right past you. I don't even see you. I just like, meh.
Oh, thanks.
Not you. Oh. In general. Like, it's just like I'm like a little kid. I just have the blinders on. I see something, I go right after it. They saw the glow sticks. They didn't want to see anybody else. Or, glow sticks. Oh shit, little kids. If you have one, man, love them while they're young. You know, that age, it's a lot of fun. I wish we had some grandkids. We got Yuki though, so that's fun.
Yeah.
How about that weather today here in Illinois?
Yeah,
fucking
we
melting.
Had a heat wave come through.
Oh my god! And like with the heat index, it was like 105.
I think it was
fucking hot. Yeah. It was not even, I wouldn't call it swampy yet.
No, it wasn't.
It was
swampy.
hot.
I didn't feel like it was as humid, but you would just stand there and you would drip if you were standing there.
Yeah, it was hot. We were on a blacktop today talking. I was out in front of a shop and I was talking to somebody and on this hot, just newly paved blacktop, and you could just feel that heat just coming and hitting you. You're just like, all right. The person I was talking to was like, I'm melting right now, like the dude from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when he went after they were trying to release these ghosts, and all of a sudden this dude just melted. Everybody was melting, so it just kind of looked like that. If anybody knows the movie I'm talking about, you'll laugh. So that's how he felt. He's like, I'm just melting right now. He's like, his whole face was red from the heat. I was like, dude, go in your car.
You need to cool off.
Dude, put that air conditioner on high. So, oh man, we're not watching any movies or anything right now, any shows. If anybody got a suggestion, shoot me a DM. I mean, we've watched so much shit in the last couple of years, but I don't even know what to watch anymore. And there's like no new seasons or anything. The Bear was good.
Yeah, we're like in limbo.
Yeah, it's like limbo
with
time
age.
right
we're in limbo with TV shows. We're in limbo with life.
Give us a suggestion, will you?
Our activities have been pretty weak as of late. Yeah. So we don't have a lot of stories to tell you.
No, not really.
It's just like normal ho-hum.
But I do have something to say. For all you stoners, burners, and potheads out there, McDonald's is bringing something to the table.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
They are bringing the Big Mac, but no beef. Not 2 all beef patties.
Okay.
2 breaded chicken patties.
With
And I think
all
you
the
can do
Big
them-
Mac toppings?
Yes. 2 all McChicken patties. Special sauce, lettuce, cheese on the sesame seed
Pickles,
bun.
onions on a sesame seed bun. Oh, we could try. We could try that.
You might be able to get it the way you like it too. The spicy.
But then it wouldn't be a Big Mac.
Yeah, but you're not worried about the beef. It's chicken, so get it how you want.
You got to get the Big Mac way.
Okay, but
And then some other time I'll try the chicken
spicy.
one, the spicy.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's big. That's big news.
Yeah.
They're putting something different in the. I think that's a big thing overseas. The big chicken, the Big McChicken sandwich. I don't know what the fuck it's called. I just know it's
the double chicken, chicken licking.
Yeah, chicken licking. But I mean,
remember that book the kids had? It was like it just had funny characters: Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Loosey Goosey,
and chicken licking.
and chicken licking.
Chicken licking. What was
the
that
sky
book?
is falling. The sky is falling.
Cocky
Chicken licking.
What
Cocky
was
Locky.
What was Cocky Locky?
Goosey Lucy.
I know what
Loosey Goosey.
I know that.
She
but
was trouble.
What's Cocky? Who?
Cocky Locky.
But who was he?
Locky Cocky. It was a cockadoodle-doo.
Oh,
Cock.
it was a cock. Okay, so Cocky Locky. I got it
And
now.
Loosey Goosey. You had to watch out for those two. I gotta find that book. It was the
probably
Stinky
have it.
Cheese Man.
The
Stinky Cheese Man.
Stinky Cheese Man.
Yeah.
I remember that. If any of you out there are probably millennials or
Good-
Gen Z,
good illustrations.
you probably know those books from your family or if you
Yeah.
got them read too, because Mrs. Weedman had all the cool books.
That was a good one. Wow.
Well, everybody, you ready to get the show started?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Cannabis and heart attack. New study reveals better outcome for weed users. A recent study spanning 2 decades reveals that cannabis users may experience better outcomes after heart attacks compared to non-users. Challenging and long-held belief that cannabis could exacerbate heart problems. Did you drop the joint?
I didn't
Down the
drop the
hole?
joint. I dropped the hemp string.
Oh, that's fine.
Down.
I thought you dropped the joint. I was like, oh, we're in trouble. Don't get your hand stuck down there.
Oh, shit.
The study published in the Archives of Medical Science, I'm going to butcher this, good job, Mrs. Weedman, erythrocerrosis disease, that was rough, analyzed data from over 9 million acute AMI patients, identifying 117,641 cannabis users. The results indicated that cannabis users had lower odds of atrial fibrillation, ventricular fibrillation, cardiogenic shock, and in-hospital mortality, presenting a potential shift in understanding the substance's impact on heart health. Cannabis users show fewer heart complications, though. Contrary to common concerns linking cannabis with increased heart risk, the study suggests a paradox where users show a reduced likelihood of severe complications post-heart attack. This includes lower occurrences of procedures like precautionary coronary interventions, PCI, and intra-aortic balloon pump, IABP usage. Sounds dangerous. Interestingly, the study revealed that cannabis users were generally younger, which may influence the lower prevalence of concurrent comorbidities like hypertension and diabetes, which are prevalent in older populations. Despite the higher incidence of risky behaviors such as smoking and alcohol use among cannabis users, the study adjusted for these factors through propensity score matching a multivariate regression models, ensuring that results specifically highlighted the effects of cannabis. I should have gave this article to you.
Yeah. Since
You know how to pronounce words.
all these things.
Exploring the cannabis paradox in heart health. The study findings are particularly relevant as cannabis gains social acceptance and legal status in many regions. The observed cannabis paradox mirrors the smoker's paradox, where smokers unexpectedly show better short-term survival after AMI compared to non-smokers. Researchers hypothesize the activation of cannabinoid receptors type 2, CB2, might offer cardioprotection, which could explain the improved outcomes among cannabis users. However, the authors caution, despite these promising results, the potential underreporting of cannabis use and other limitations mean that further research is necessary. The advocate for more comprehensive studies to explore the intricate effects of cannabis on cardiovascular health, emphasizing the need for nuanced understanding of its clinical and therapeutic implications. Therapeutic effect for older patients. Furthermore, The latest findings on cannabis users improved heart attack outcomes, aligning with growing evidence of the plant's therapeutic benefits, as seen in a recent study on older patients using cannabis for chronic pain, said the study. Pretty good. Mm-hmm. But you should have read that article, not me. You're smarter than I am.
Well, I don't know about that.
So this is a kind of like a 2-article one. You kind of combined it a little bit, but it's really promising news about Parkinson's disease. But the crazy thing was I didn't realize coffee, along with cannabis and turmeric, all had a helping hand in fighting Parkinson's disease, right? Said the study, right? Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Alrighty. Study finds that 30% of people use coffee and cannabis for Parkinson's. So those would be patients. A study recently published in the Journal of Parkinson's has discovered that more than 1/3 of people with Parkinson's are using natural health products to help treat their condition's symptoms. The results of this study has also revealed, however, that a worrying percentage of these people are not revealing that to their healthcare professionals. And they're using things like coffee, turmeric, and cannabis for their Parkinson's. The study, whose authors include Sandra Daihu from University Laval in Canada and Professor Bas Bloem from Rabat University Medical Center in the Netherlands. They surveyed 367 people with Parkinson's from across the Netherlands, all of whom are part of the PRIME NL, which stands for Proactive and Integrated Management and Empowerment of Parkinson's Disease, Netherlands database. The goal of the study was not only to find out about the prevalence of using natural health products to alleviate Parkinson's symptoms, but also to discover if respondents were aware of potential interactions between natural health products and their Parkinson's medication, and whether they discuss using natural health products with their doctor. The results showed that 36% of respondents confirmed they were using natural health aids like coffee and cannabis. Of these, coffee was the most popular product used by 16% of respondents, followed by cannabis at 13% and turmeric at 10%.
I use all three, but I don't have Parkinson's.
Right.
So, but I use all three, though.
You're preventing it.
Yeah, I'm preventing it.
Other supplements used included velvet bean and chamomile. I have not heard of velvet bean.
Me neither, but chamomile we know.
Yeah, right. 39% of natural health product users were aware of possible interactions with prescribed Parkinson's medication. Only 39% of users had discussed these supplements with their healthcare provider. The results of the survey led the study to make 2 recommendations. First, that there is a need for additional research efforts in the health benefits and safety of these products. And second, that open discussions with their healthcare providers are encouraged to ensure efficacy and safety. A previous survey by the Michael J. Fox Foundation in the U.S. during 2020 showed that of almost 2,000 people surveyed, 70% were using medical cannabis for their Parkinson's, but a third hadn't told their doctor. The Michael J. Fox Foundation is among several prominent Parkinson's organizations, including the Parkinson's Foundation in the U.S., Fight Parkinson's in Australia, and Parkinson's UK, who have urged people to exercise caution around using cannabis for Parkinson's, citing a lack of current evidence into its efficacy and safety. Our research manager, Amelia Hersey, explains, with homeopathic and natural product treatments, it's rare to be able to purchase products over the counter that have a high enough concentration level of the active compound to have a therapeutic effect. For instance, using cannabinoids or CBD as a relaxant can work. However, knowing what the concentration is within the items you consume and how much you would need to have a therapeutic effect is very hard to evaluate. Parkinson's UK is currently running a... wow, those words didn't come out. Parkinson's UK is currently running a research trial to see if cannabidiol, or CBD, can be used by people with Parkinson's to treat hallucinations and delusions. There are more studies needed. Moving on to coffee, there is decidedly mixed consensus around how effective it is as a treatment for Parkinson's symptoms. While some studies suggest that caffeine might help slow the development of symptoms, other research found that certain symptoms improved when treated with caffeine, while others got slightly worse. A more recent study, which appeared in the Annals of Neurology journal in May of 2024, concluded that caffeine does not improve symptoms. And turmeric, which is a spice made from the ground rootstock of the curcuma plant. An active ingredient of turmeric is curcumin, which has long been believed to have medicinal properties. This article in the journal Science of Parkinson's gives an excellent explanation of how and why turmeric has been thought to help certain Parkinson's symptoms, which include its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and neuroprotective properties. We've also previously reported on a Japanese study which found turmeric oil could be beneficial in treating Parkinson's. Back in 2021, a survey was conducted to poll patients diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Researchers utilized a cross-sectional based survey throughout Germany, using a questionnaire they had developed themselves. The questionnaire had 25 questions, which sought to ask patients about their cannabis use for Parkinson's, their patient knowledge, as well as demographics. A total of 24,000 questionnaires were distributed, and 1,123 were analyzed from the 1,126 that were returned. Additionally, 90% of the 250 patients who were invited to join the survey responded. Among them, 15% were cannabis users, 13.9% were regular consumers, while 32.2% were considered occasional users. It was surprising that just 51% said they were knowledgeable about cannabis, and just 8.8, this is terrible, just 8.8% understood the difference between CBD and THC. However,
listen to our show. If not, listen to
somebody.
Listen to somebody.
Google, type it in.
Yes, learn.
You gotta learn.
Educate.
Please. However, but it's very. I can absolutely understand why.
Oh yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's very confusing. However, over half of them reported that cannabis has had a positive clinical effect. So they don't understand the difference, but it's working. They're seeing therapeutic benefits. Our data confirm that Parkinson's disease patients have a high interest in treatment with medical cannabis, but lack knowledge about how to take it, and especially the difference between the two main cannabinoids, THC and CBD, explained Professor Karsten Boomen, the lead investigator and professor at the Department of Neurology in the University Medical Center, Hamburg, Germany. So, obviously, there's a lot of hope for it in treating or helping people who are suffering from Parkinson's. But yes, they have to figure out some way to help educate people how to use it correctly and figuring out doses and all that.
Yeah, just like any medication. You got to figure out your dose, right? And
to make sure that it's not interacting negatively with their
other
meds.
medications. Yeah, 100%. Why do you think marijuana companies fail?
Maybe a lot of it is because of the laws that are in place, especially here in Illinois. Rules, regulations,
high taxes,
business costs,
non-payment.
Yeah, down the whole channel.
You run it
from product to consumer. There's problems. With payment.
Yeah, and no banking.
Right.
Like no banking help.
Right.
You know.
So people have to go on borrowed money. That's capital. That's raised funds.
Yeah,
they can't go to a bank note, pay some off.
Investors aren't giving money for right now.
Right.
They're tightening up their belts. So if you don't have help from a bank, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You know. So, but cannabis companies are in a vicious cycle of non-payment from vendors and clients that leads to cash crunch and shutdown. That's the biggest issue right there. Y'all need to pay your shit. Back when I was in the traditional market, you didn't get fucking shit unless you had cash on hand. Cash on delivery. There was no fronting. None. At all. You know? You buy less. You know? Don't expect to buy 25 pounds of weed at one time. Start off with a pound of weed. This is talking traditional market stuff, not dispensary. But you don't sell what you can't, you don't buy what you can't pay for, and you don't sell what you can't buy, and you can't buy what you can't sell. All in that. So here, Michigan isn't just competing with California in the regulated recreational market. It's also matching California in unpaid invoices. Brett Gelfand, managing partner at Cannabis, collects in St. Petersburg, Florida, and founder of Cannabis Credit Association, noted that Michigan's regulated adult use market is now one of the worst for unpaid debts. And they're one of the worst. I would say every state is probably has had issues or is having issues or just fucking no one pays their bills. Mm-hmm. It's just so terrible. Turns out one way to make money in competitive cannabis markets is not pay your bills. Oregon and Colorado used to be major states for us in terms of collection activities, Gelfand said, but many of those companies have been weeded out. Now we don't see much volume from Colorado, Oregon anymore. In newer markets like Michigan, however, it's becoming a growing issue. Just how big the problem is? Delinquent payments in the regulated cannabis industry are projected to exceed, you ready for this number? Drum roll, please. $4 billion. Not million, billion in 2024. According to Whitney Economics, an Oregon-based cannabis data and research firm. Gelfand discussed how plant-touching companies can adopt best practices for managing accounts, receiving and breaking the cycle in debt in a recent interview, where he answered the following questions. What is the main factor leading the companies to delay invoice payments? I know so many reasons, but we'll just stick to the article. We'll keep my knowledge out of this right now. The primary issue in banking and capital access. Without access to credit cards or regular capital, as non-cannabis businesses have, cannabis companies often rely on trade credit instead of operating capital. This forces many cannabis businesses without the formal training that banks have to function like banks themselves. When a company offers net 15 or net 30-day payment terms, they're essentially acting as the bank. But there's people now that are not paying within that time. Mm-hmm. 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, full year. Anyway, I'll move on. They're essentially acting like the bank, but unlike banks, which would assess a credit profile, secure lien, or demand personal guarantees to safeguard against non-payment, cannabis companies also lack such recourse. In the cannabis industry, it's almost a free-for-all. Cannabis businesses feel pressured to extend credit to make sales, fearing that customers will go elsewhere if they don't. 100%. As a result, they end up giving credit terms, even without proper safeguards, 100%, due to the lack of transparency and guardrails in the industry, leaving them vulnerable to non-payment. Number one. Are certain sectors of the cannabis industry more affected by non-payment issues? Retailers are particularly notorious for non-payment, which triggers a cycle of financial strain across the industry. When retailers fail to pay, it impacts producers and brands who, in turn, delay payments to their testing lab vendors. On the other hand, some larger ancillary companies such as grow supply and lighting companies are more stringent. They've been in business longer and are less likely to extend credit without proper precautions. What best practices do you recommend for managing accounts receivable, aside from cash on delivery? Firstly, appoint someone responsible for cash collections and establish a clear policy and procedure for this process. Most of these cannabis companies don't. They have their people on the street chasing after the money. It's just never going to happen. You're never going to get it. Cannabis businesses feel pressured to extend credit, fearing customers will go elsewhere. I read that already. Sorry, everybody. Due to the lack of transparency and guardrails, the industry is leaving them vulnerable to non-payment. Retailers are particularly notorious for non-payment, which triggers a cycle of the industry. When retailers fail to pay, it impacts producers and brands. They've been in business longer and are less to extend credit, proper precautions as the lighting companies and all that. So now getting back in. It's crucial to have a method for evaluating a company's credit worthiness before extending credit. Ensure you have an onboarding agreement reviewed by a lawyer that includes default language for non-payment. If you're offering a substantial credit, securing your personal guarantee is the best way to protect yourself. With many retail chains facing financial difficulties, vendors are often fortunate to recover anything at all, making these practices even more vital. I'll give you a little opinion on this one, too. You're putting trust in people you don't know. Because they own a business doesn't mean that they're trustworthy. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you're giving them upfront product and hoping and praying that they will pay you in 15-day terms or 30-day terms that you decide to give them with no contract, with no let's
no
just say,
repercussion if they
none.
don't pay.
If you're acting like a bank and you're giving up for product, banks charge interest. There's no interest on delayed payments, and then you get then you're 40. Then you're all of a sudden you get to 45 days, you get to 60 days, you get to 75 days, but you're still selling them product. Okay, so now you go.
Yeah,
from,
and then they want more. They want more.
Now you
inventory.
go from like 15,000 maybe to like 150,000. Now that one
account
company, one account owes you, right? Mm-hmm. There's no, you're not putting a nut on there. You're not throwing interest on there. So they're not paying you, because if you did that, they'll never do business with you.
Yeah, there's no incentive for them to pay it.
So now you put them on hold, but they already owe you 150 grand in debt. Mm-hmm. Okay, a product that's already been sold. They already made the money. They ain't sending. They might have maybe $1,000 left after you just kept on selling it to them. You kept on selling because you don't want to lose that business. One day you might get paid. Maybe. MedMen was the biggest one right there. They owe a lot of people money. So they're bankrupt. They're done. But it happens. You front it, and you barely get paid. And then you put them on AR hold. So then they're like, well, what if I pay you $5,000 a month, but will you still sell me product? Then you get in that fucking hole. Yeah, if you give me $5,000. But now, while you're giving them $5,000 a product, they're paying you the $5,000 anyway. So they're only paying for the product they're just buying from you. Mm-hmm. So it's a fucking...
They're not getting out of the hole.
No, and you're not getting out of the hole either. And then you can't pay your employees, so you have to lay people off at the facilities that are making this stuff.
Well, we have the same issue with 8 Decades getting into dispensaries because they want the net 30. And it's like, well, I'm a small business. If you're not paying me...
But right now, a lot of us are all
we're all small businesses.
A lot of us are all
Everybody
small businesses.
Is. Yeah.
We all are.
Right. And we don't have banks behind us,
So why aren't cannabis operators reporting default accounts to collections? Now, there's been some companies that have. But many of the clients hesitate to submit outstanding accounts to collections because they're concerned about their reputation. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be perceived as aggressive or difficult with the industry. However, this mindset needs to change. Don't take anybody's kindness for weakness anymore, people out there, please. People are kind. It's good that they're kind. But don't take it as a weakness. Because there's a lot of people out there that fuck you up. If this was the old days, there'd be a lot of knees being broken right now. Mm-hmm. And a lot of cars being busted up, or cars being robbed, or people getting shot. This is not what it once was. So you're lucky this is a legal market now where you have to play by some rules. So if a company isn't honoring their payment agreement, they're the ones at fault, not you. Non-payments can lead to serious consequences, including business closures and personal finance losses. Especially most people have their own money invested in this because you can't get a bank loan. So you took everything you had. Say you had $500,000 and you went in a partnership with 10 people because it cost you $5 million to get this all started up, and now all of you are busted because you're out $2-3 million. It's just not fair to do to people. And I'm not saying everybody's bad. There's some really good people out there, pay their bills on time, understand how business works. They get the supply chain, they get their product, they pay for their product on time. It's perfect. Then you got some that are mediocre. Then you got some that are just fucking don't like that one article we read. They got, why pay the fucking vendors? What are they going to do about it? I'll just go to somewhere else and get more and then do the same thing over and over. And we fucking everyone beat their shit. But
eventually they get the bad rap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you wish cannabis operators knew? There's a significant risk in using Facebook or WhatsApp groups to expose delinquent companies. While the intent may to protect the community, these groups can inadvertently violate antitrust laws. If a sophisticated debtor or such a list sees posts advising others not to sell to them, it could lead to serious legal trouble. The industry must recognize that while it's important to share information, it must be done in a regulated and lawful manner. The impact of financial strain on the broader cannabis supply chain, the financial burden resulting from non-payment impacts not only specific businesses, but also the whole cannabis supply chain. Payment delays or defaults by retailers have a knock-on effect on manufacturer brands and service providers, resulting in a vicious circle of unstable economic conditions. Due to their own often narrow profit margins, producers and brands mostly depend on prompt payments to meet their running expenditures, which include debt repayment, salaries, and manufacturing costs, like I said earlier. These companies are compelled to postpone paying upstream vendors such as testing laboratories and packaging suppliers when they don't get payments from retailers on schedule. Due to the cascading effect of the delay, even companies with a sound financial process may find it difficult to fulfill their commitments, which might cause more supply chain disruptions. Financial volatility is especially harmful to small enterprises, which may lack the reserves to absorb late payments. For them, a few missing payments from a large store might be the difference between survival and failure. The pressure frequently results in a tightening of loan conditions across the board, while suppliers being less willing to issue credit without severe protections. Consequently, a contradiction in financing may hinder the industry's ability to innovate and thrive. Uncertainty about their financial situation may make companies less inclined to invest in new items or take risk. Additional obstacles to growing a business in the cannabis sector include the general lack of market liquidity, which can make it hard for companies to expand. Non-payment problems thus represent more than isolated occurrences. Rather, they point to more widespread financial weakness in the cannabis industry. To overcome these obstacles, the industry as a whole must adapt structurally to improve the availability of credit and capital, as well as improve corporate financial management procedures. A lot of companies are also using the money they're making to expand. So they don't have any bank help or any financial investors help anymore. So they just take the product, they sell it, they take that profit, and they put it in their bank account till they have another couple million to go invest. And that's why another reason why people aren't getting paid.
But that's not fair because 100%. It affects the entire chain.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Bottom line, non-payment is a significant challenge that threatens the sustainability of cannabis companies, particularly in a newer market like Michigan. You're not just Michigan, though. I'm just telling you right now. Mm-hmm. This is just they're writing it about Michigan, but this is just every state. The ripple effect of financial strain extends beyond individual businesses, impacting the entire supply chain and stifling growth and innovation in the industry. To mitigate these risks, cannabis companies must adopt stringent financial management practices, and the industry must advocate for systematic changes that improve access to credit and capital. Only by addressing these underlying financial vulnerabilities can the cannabis industry build a more stable and resilient future. A lot of it, state regulations, everything they ever hear, it's a fucked up system. Every state's fucked up. Okay, how much money you got to pay to get in? How much you got to pay in taxes? I'm talking about from the dispensary all the way to the vendor, all the way to the supplier. It's a fucked up situation. Now, I tell you what, if we all shut down for a week, you think every state will be going, what the fuck's going on? We want our tax dollars. Well, motherfucker, fix your shit. Stop charging us so much in taxes, too, that we can't afford to pay the vendors because we're paying you 47% tax like they do in Oregon, up to 37% tax here in Illinois. It's crazy. But I will say this, Illinois cannabis, you are lucky you're not treated like the alcohol industry and beer and wine industry, because if you were here in Illinois, if you don't pay your bill, they give you 30 days. But if you don't pay your bill, your license gets locked up and you can't buy a single thing from any distributor anywhere. And you could possibly get shut down and fined a lot of money. You think that would fucking make people pay their bills in 30 days? If you got that, that's something special. Mm-hmm. For a company to give you 30 days and they don't even know you, but they trust you enough that you're going to pay your bill at 30 days. And granted, I understand sometimes that product sits longer than 30 days and you ain't making your money back on that product. I get that also.
That's the risk of having a retail store.
It is.
Right?
I understand that. Sometimes,
you hold a certain amount of inventory.
Right, you do. But sometimes you might buy from one vendor and you bought $5,000 worth of product, and after that 30 days, you're sitting on $4,800 still of their product.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Right. So they're looking at going, I still got to sell their product to make some money back so I could pay them. Mm-hmm. I got to at least sell half of their product back, and then the other half, it will be my profitability. But if that shit's sitting on your shelf for fucking 90 days, oof, that's on the vendor to help you sell it.
Right.
I'll be the first to admit that. It's a two-way street. If you expect the retail shop to sell your product, you need to help them sell your product. Mm-hmm. That's in every business. You just don't sell it, set it and forget it.
Right.
You stop by, you visit, you say, hi, how's the product doing? You make sure the bud tender's got some samples, whatever. You just got to make sure you know what the fuck you're doing, because you're expecting them to sell your product, but you need to make sure they have the tools to sell your product. Good pricing, good representation, making sure the bud tenders get samples. You're making sure that their customers like your product. It's a two-way street in business. We all know this. But You all motherfuckers are fucking us all up. Pay your bills on time. That's it. Don't make it go 60, 90 days. It hurts everybody. Man, people be out of jobs again soon. It sucks, you know? We love edibles.
Yeah, we do.
I love edibles. I love your edibles. We need a new batch of some stuff. It's been a minute. Got plenty of butter in this house. So, strain specific, though. We have never done strain specific edibles here. I've always taken like all my shake and trim from a cup and throw it in and boom. But I've had strain specific edibles before, and they're wonderful. You know, I've had live resin strain specific. I've had certain butters that are strain specific. We just never have enough weed to make the big batch that we do.
Home.
Right.
Yeah.
One day I will make a strain specific. So, but how do you make strain specific edibles at home, Mrs. Weedman?
Yes. Do you love strain specific edibles, but you have a hard time finding them? You're not alone. As people learn more about the variety present in cannabis's many strains, many find that only some of these options give them the effects that they're looking for. For those strain-sensitive people who prefer edibles, this can present a challenge. It's not always easy to find the strains you really want locally, but it can be almost impossible to find them. Yeah, it does say that. It's not always easy to find the strains you need locally, but it can be almost impossible to find them in edibles. Since most edible companies leave the strain a mystery or mix many strains together, it's hard to find specific strains when you need them. Making edibles at home is a great way to bypass the problem, but edible recipes can get complicated. Most people don't want to labor over a pot for hours, constantly checking that the temperature is still in the perfect zone. And if you have a hard time making edibles at home, we have some shortcuts to simplify the process. Use a magic butter machine. We have one of these. It's fantastic.
It's great.
Yeah, edible bases can be tricky to make and usually involve a long infusing process where the temperature needs to be just right. The magical butter machine really simplifies this process. You put your decarboxylated flour and your butter into the machine and you push a button. 2 hours later, your perfectly infused butter is ready to go.
It's so nice.
It is. Since it can make a base for butters, oil, glycerin, honey, alcohol, the magic butter machine can simplify almost any edible recipe. Infused oils aren't the only way to make an edible. If you want to skip the process of making a base and get right to making edibles, there are some other recipes that use flour itself. Did you know, do you ever vape your favorite strains? Sorry. Did you know that you can turn that leftover flour from vaping into a culinary experience?
I have a nice jar collection right now. I wait till the jar is full. Oh boy,
Yeah, because when you're vaping it, you're just heating it. You're not burning it, so you can repurpose it.
Oh boy.
Or they can also turn this leftover flour into a can of flour for baking. We'll add the link to this article in our episode details, so then you can see the recipes, because they do have a bunch of interesting recipes. And it'll even teach you how to grind your preferred cannabis into a powdered form that can be baked right into your favorite treats. You can skip the cooking altogether by eating raw cannabis fan leaves. This not only simplifies the process, but you can also gain benefits from the plant's unaltered natural compounds like THCA. The most popular method for consuming raw plant is juicing it. The juice can be mixed with other fruit or vegetables for flavor and can be frozen in ice trays to preserve for later. Yet some skip the juicing altogether and put the leaves straight into their salad. The high is fairly different from infused and decarboxylated edibles, so you might find that different strains work well for you, fresh rather than consumed. But
we've juiced.
Yeah, but you don't get a head high. You're gonna get like a body, like a very calm. Yeah.
Remember, I juiced. I don't know. I took
a lot,
and I made like 4 bottles of juice, and I put it every day. I drank like 2 or 3 shots. It bitter as fuck, or I put it in my smoothie, but kind of like wheatgrass, just do a couple shots, and boy, oh boy, man, from the head down, from the neck down.
Yeah, when he's trimming his plants, we'll trim the leaves.
Yeah, from the neck down, boy, you feel wonderful.
Another great trick for making edibles is using cannabis concentrates instead of flour or trim. Any decarboxylated full melt concentrate can be mixed into oil, butter, honey, or any other infusible base without needing as much time or heat as it would if you were infusing in trim or flour. I would just want you to make sure that you are really infusing it. Like if you're using a concentrate or a hash, you need to like, I don't know, maybe warm it in whatever, like warm the oil that you're putting it into or the butter you're putting it
just
into.
Make sure you mix it very well.
Yeah, so it really infuses.
You have to really,
so you don't
really...
end up over-consuming in one bite.
Mrs. Weedman's a very good whisker. She can whisk very well. I'm
he
terrible.
does not know how to whisk.
I don't know how to whisk at all. Fucking shit goes all over the fucking place. But Mrs. Weedman, boy, she's got that left-handed motion, boy.
I'll infuse your stuff for you. All right, now this is all just going off.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about bacon. Where's your mind going, Mrs. Weedman?
I have no idea. This can drastically, so if you don't have to do all the heating and cooking, it can drastically cut the time and difficulty of your recipe. Once you know how to decarboxylate full melt concentrates, you can mix them or any other infusible base just as easily. Keef also makes a great addition to your edibles. Mm-hmm. Have you ever made an edible only to find that cannabis flavor didn't blend well with the recipe? Don't fight against the flavor. Find the right recipe for your favorite strain. Edible chef Jessica Catalano made this easy by offering strain-specific edible recipes. Catalano has already done the hard work of figuring out what culinary treats blend with particular strains. Love the effects from diesel strains? Try her recipe for New York City diesel hummus wraps. Want to use a lemony sativa like Super Lemon Haze? Try her Super Lemon Haze lavender cupcakes. Okay. Prefer a heavy indica like hash plant? The hash plant, cinnamon roll monkey bread?
This we might be making that one.
It is already perfectly balanced for the flavor. Listen to the experts and you won't have to worry about making a tray of cookies that ends up tasting like a skunk. Making edibles can be complicated, but following these tips and recipes, they get a whole lot easier. Time to stock up your favorite strains and try out a recipe or two. You may be surprised with how simple it is to create delicious medicinal treats.
I think you need, next time we make some edibles, you need to show everybody your whisking material, like how
whisking.
Yeah, how good you do at it.
My mom taught me. I think it's just you can do it or you can't.
I can't.
You can't. Like, what are you doing?
Whoa, man!
Watch out. She's whisking.
If you can turn back time.
Yeah.
You think cannabis THC can turn back the clock
on your health?
Can it reverse brain aging or drain bramage?
I don't know.
Boost mental capacity?
Maybe.
There's new studies suggesting it.
That's pretty cool.
Scientists from the University Hospital of Bonn and the University of Bonn have unveiled promising evidence that low dose of THC, the primary psychoactive component of cannabis, could reverse brain aging. So maybe I'll finally get rid of that drain bramage I've had all these years. Published in the journal ACH Pharmacology and Translation Science, a study done in collaboration with the Hebrew University explores the profound impact THC has on cognitive rejuvenation in aging mice. Man. Cognitive gains from THC in mice. The research hinges on the interaction between THC and the brain's cannabinoid receptors type 1 CB1, which diminishes with age, leading to cognitive declines. By enhancing CB1 activity, THC appears to activate the motor protein, a crucial regulator of cell growth and aging. This interaction sparked a significant uptick in cognitive functions in elderly mice, revigorating brain activities, especially in the hippocampus, the core area for learning and memory. The frontal lobe, the whole the brain. What are you saying, Mrs. Weedman?
The hippocampus, I believe, is up front.
Up front? Okay. Not the medulla oblongata. Where's that in your brain?
In the middle. Medulla oblongata. I don't know.
What makes the study particularly interesting is its detailed examination of how THC molecules modulates brain and body functions differently over time. Initially, THC boosted brain metabolism and synaptic protein levels, indicative of heightened cognitive processes. It shifted towards reducing metabolic activities in the body, akin to the effects seen with caloric restrictions or intensive exercises known for the anti-aging benefits. We have now been able to show that treatment with THC has a tissue-dependent and dual effect of the motor signaling and the metabloom. Stated Andras Blicky-Gorzo, a lead researcher at the Institute of Molecular Psychiatry at UKB, in the press release. We conducted the long-term THC treatment initiating has a cognitive enhancing effect by increasing energy and sympathetic protein production in the brain, followed by anti-aging effect by decreasing motor activity and metabolic processes in the periphery. Our study suggested that the dual effect on motor activity and the metabloom could be a basis for effective anti-aging and cognitive enhancing drug, added Belicky-Gorzo. However, while the results are promising, the researchers caution that this is just the beginning. The study constraints, including its focus on mice and specific THC doses and durations, highlight the need for further research to confirm these effects in humans and establish safe, effective treatment protocols. Seniors turn to THC for cognitive health, though. The rising interest in cannabis benefits for the elderly, is noted by increasing usage among the baby boomer generation, underscores the potential for THC to enhance cognitive health. Studies like those published in 2022 by the University of Colorado Boulder have now shown similar cognitive improvements, with older adults experiencing enhanced brain cognitivity and reduced brain inflammation from cannabis use. That's promising, huh?
Definitely.
So, Americans are using what?
Well, they are using more cannabis and tobacco.
Tobacco? That was like...
I know, I thought that was tapered off.
Yeah, me too. And I've read articles too that people are using less tobacco, but it was like... It says,
and because of the rise of vaping, that it doesn't seem like younger generations...
Yeah, but vaping's not tobacco, is it?
That's what I'm saying, but
right.
Younger generations aren't using tobacco. They're all vaping,
right.
It seems.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
The study is finding,
but it's only in older adults, though.
Yeah,
right?
especially in older
okay.
adults. So the number of Americans who use both cannabis and tobacco products is increasing, particularly among older adults, according to Duke University School of Medicine researchers. A study published August 13th in the Addictive Behaviors Journal found that the co-use of cannabis and tobacco products by Americans has increased over the last 2 decades. The study, outlined in a recent report by Duke University School of Medicine, utilized data from 708,891 adult respondents to the U.S. National Survey on Drug Use and Health from the years of 2002 to 2021. Duke researchers assessed the prevalence among Americans of past 30-day cannabis and tobacco use, exclusive cannabis use, and exclusive tobacco use. The number of American adults who use both cannabis and tobacco products has increased significantly since 2002, with the increase driven largely by rising rates of overall cannabis use. The prevalence of co-use of cannabis and tobacco particularly increased among older Americans, especially people aged 26 to 34 and those aged 50 and older. So strange. Co-use rates have dropped only for young adults aged 18 to 25 whose co-use rates stagnated from 2002 to 2014 and then dropped significantly from 2014 to 2019. As of 2021, the weighted prevalence of cannabis and tobacco co-use was 6.38%. The weighted prevalence of exclusive cannabis use was 7.28%, and the weighted prevalence of exclusive tobacco use was 15%, the authors wrote. When looking at the 2021 data, younger individuals, people with lower educational attainment, and residing in a state with a medical marijuana law were most likely to report co-use. Trends in cannabis and tobacco co-use prevalence have not been examined in many years, while regulatory policy has been changing quite a bit, said study lead author Dana Rubenstein in a statement. Researchers also noted that exclusive cannabis use has been on the rise since 2007, while exclusive tobacco use has been in decline since 2002. Interesting.
Very interesting. I mean,
I feel like I never see people really smoking cigarettes anymore. It's pretty uncommon, isn't it?
No.
No?
No. There's still a lot of people that smoke cigs.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, they're all, I still even see young people smoking cigs.
Maybe it's just because if you don't smoke, you're like now you have to go outside to smoke. So as a non-smoker, we're not really inconvenienced or bothered by cigarette smoke.
I mean, I still...
Unless you work someplace, I guess.
It is weird because you see so many people vaping now versus smoking cigs, but I still see people smoking cigs. There's people that probably will never go to a vape.
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't... I mean, I went to vaping, nicotine because I wanted to go away from cigs, but I still think about cigarettes.
Right.
Yeah. But I just went to vaping because I thought it was going to get me off of, all the stuff that comes from smoking.
It's a sham.
It is a sham.
It does not make people quit smoking.
No.
It makes you consume more nicotine in a different form.
I mean...
Total bullshit.
Listen, there's people that do it. I've done it. I thought I was going to stop after 2 years. When I stopped smoking, I went to vaping. And when I hit 40, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great thing. In 2 years, I'll be done.
Most people don't even realize they're consuming more nicotine.
Oh, 15
when
years
they're vaping.
14 years later.
Mm-hmm. And 14 years later, you're still smoking.
I'm still vaping.
Hey, that was a great quit strategy.
I don't vape like I used to, but I probably... probably bum it off Paulie every once in a while when he comes to the house. I take a couple hits off his vape, but I can go back to that tomorrow.
Right.
It's just I have a nicotine addiction. I love it. I'm sorry.
Most people who smoke do, and that's the problem with vapes too. Is that these younger people aren't even realizing that they're addicted to something. They think that it's not harmful to their health.
I love nicotine.
They don't realize.
I mean, as much as I don't know if it's as much as I love weed, but I love nicotine. There's just no and if I'm bad about it, I mean, it wakes me up. Keeps me going. Weed is meant for me to relax, calm me down. Go to sleep with it, relax on the couch, gets me more mellow. Nicotine always had me going. You take a couple puffs off that fucking vape, and I'm like, woo! It's like, what the fuck? That dopamine level just hits you. So, it's just a different high. I mean, I just wish you could get it in a way that's not going to fucking kill your lungs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know you can dip it. There's so many ways to get nicotine, but I don't know.
You just want to just inject it?
No, I know people use the patch a lot to help them out. I did. I went in the patch a bunch of times, and it does help. But once you get off it, you go right back to that. I mean, maybe I'll stop smoking for a little bit, vaping or whatever. But I mean, if I go right back to vaping, I got to go use the patch for a minute to help me mellow out. Because if you just fucking cold turkey nicotine, and I've done cold turkey, it's rough. It's rough. That come down is rough. Thank God for CBD and weed, boy. Whew. THC, because I use it a lot more. So, political state news. Yeah, right there. A
little hot flash.
Yeah. Oregon has the cheapest cannabis in the nation, according to industry study. So I'll give you the top 10 of pricing. So Oregon for an ounce is $1.99. This isn't an article. I didn't do the research. I just read this article, so this is what they're saying. So I could be wrong, but I don't know. If someone knows more than me in the other states, let me know. Washington State is $2.15. Colorado is $2.21. California is $2.32. Nevada is $2.52. New Mexico is $2.56. Montana is $2.57. Mississippi is $2.59.50. And Maine is $2.60.50. That is your cheapest weed in the United States right now per ounce. Not bad. There's still states charging $400. Illinois, you get ounces anywhere between $2.80 to $3.75. I've seen
That's at a dispensary?
Yeah.
Oh.
They didn't have Michigan on here, though, which was like, really? Because you can get an ounce in Michigan pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't record it. So majority of pre-approval applicants for cannabis businesses licenses do not live in Minnesota. And Minnesota was trying to keep it just Minnesotians to be able to get a license. So over 1,800 applications have been filed in Minnesota for the lottery. I hate the lottery just because it's like you put all this money into it and for a chance. It's like trying to win the lotto,
That's why it's a lottery.
Yeah, but it sucks.
I wish there was a better way.
Yes,
right?
I wish there was a better way.
Or more opportunity.
I get why they do the lottery, but it's just, ugh. Angela Dawson, CEO of Bold North, is one of nearly 600 applicants in the micro-business category, competing for 100 pre-licenses. Less than half of the applicants are Minnesota residents, raising concerns about local entrepreneurs being overshadowed by out-of-state corporations. The Office of Cannabis Management assures that social equity criteria individuals level scrutiny aim to prevent large corporations from dominating. Dawson remains uncertain about her business future. U.S. cannabis sales jump in July for most states. In July 2024, most U.S. states with adult-use cannabis markets saw sales rise, except Florida, which reported its lowest sales month of the year at $149 million. Don't forget, Florida's only medical. California and Michigan led the market with $386 million and $288 million in sales, respectively, though both states saw declines from their peak months. Illinois, Massachusetts, and Missouri followed in sales. New York's July sales dipped, and Colorado also experienced a decline. In the medical cannabis sector, Oklahoma outpaced Florida by $168 million in sales, while Pennsylvania's program continues steady growth. Oklahoma outpaced Florida. Florida, man, you just I don't know. Hopefully everybody by Amendment 3. Let's go in November, Florida. Stores selling marijuana are flourishing in Southwest Virginia. How? There's no dispensaries.
Right.
There's no recreational dispensaries. There's medical dispensaries, but there's no recreational dispensaries. Here's how. In Southwest Virginia, cannabis stores now outnumber liquor stores.
What?
Even though selling marijuana is illegal outside of a medical license. Despite conservative politics in the region, these stores are openly operating, reflecting local consumer demand. This trend parallels other conservative areas like Ohio, where Republican voters have supported cannabis legalization, while Virginia legislators, especially Republicans, have resisted legalizing retail cannabis. The growing number of cannabis stores suggested a disconnect between lawmakers and their constituents. The current situation is likened to the Wild Wild West, with unregulated sales and minimal law enforcement intervention. Just sell it, Virginia. Fuck it. Just sell it. Just fucking do it.
Nobody's shutting them down,
Fuck,
really?
man. That governor's he's a cagoots. Oklahoma's organized crime task force seizes 9,000 pounds of marijuana plants in major drug bust. Or 9,000 marijuana plants in a major drug bust. There's a ton of illegal Chinese cartel stuff going on in Oklahoma. So they're busting. They're putting a big stop to it all. Americans see cannabis as less harmful than tobacco or alcohol, but are divided on impact, Gallup poll reveals. A recent Gallup poll reveals that Americans viewing on cannabis have become more conservative, with 54% now seeing it harmful to society, up from 2022. Despite the shift, cannabis is still viewed as less harmful than tobacco or alcohol. The poll shows a decline of positive perception, particularly among young adults, and slight drop in usage, with 13% of adults reporting cannabis use. However, support for legalization remains high, with 90% of Americans favoring some of the legal cannabis, some form of it. Arizona cannabis market losing sales buzz. Arizona's cannabis market with sales losing momentum. The drop in sales could be attributed to market saturation, falling prices. That's right, just right there. Falling prices. Price compression in Arizona is so real right now. You can get fucking edibles so cheap and flour so cheap there. It's like, I mean, really cheap. Price compression is a real thing. And all you do is hurt each other by trying to beat somebody out of pricing. It's brutal. So much wrong with all of you all. And possibly other economic fractures impacting both the medical marijuana and adult use markets in the state. Yeah, their medical market in Arizona has gotten to shit. So, because nobody cares about it, because it doesn't bring any tax revenue in it. So it just screws everything up. Despite these only people that get hurt is the people that need it medically. You know? Despite these challenges, the value of assets in the market remains strong. Report use cannabis license application rates are up for the first time in 2 years. In Q2 2024, the total number of approved and pending cannabis industry licenses in the U.S. increased for the first time in 2 years, driven by a surge in applications for various license types, including 445% increase in retail dispensary licenses and 760% boost in wholesale and distribution licenses. Significant growth was seen in states like Michigan, New York, and New Jersey. However, despite the rise in applications, there was a 2% decline in the total number of active licenses, with notable decreases in California and Oklahoma due to stricter regulations. Inside the battle over cannabis legalization in Florida. Florida's November 2024 vote on adult-use cannabis legalization, Amendment 3, faces strong opposition from figures like Governor Ron DeSantis and billionaire Ken Griffin. He gave DeSantis $12 million. Don't forget. He's in for the hemp industry, but not in for the cannabis industry. The measures, if passed, could make Florida the first Southern Republican state to legalize recreational cannabis, potentially creating a $6 billion market by 2026. This is much Cali. With polls show mixed results, with some suggesting support in the close to required 60%. The opposition is intensifying. Key backers, other cultivators, are backing heavily in the campaign. And then they're saying with Trump potentially endorsement could sway the outcome because they're going to be voting on Amendment 3, and Trump is now a voter in Florida. So if he votes for Amendment 3, yes, they're thinking that if he announces that he's going to do it, people will go and vote yes for it. So he's probably getting calls from DeSantis going, no, motherfucker, no, don't you dare. I want the hemp industry. The thing about it, Florida, you're hemp and cannabis. Why are you fighting? You should be partnering for each other just to get it all legalized. Okay? Stop fighting one another. You're only hurting each other. Lawmakers make it official. Annual fees for medical pot businesses will jump 70%. South Dakota lawmakers have approved a 70% increase in annual fees for medical marijuana businesses, effective starting next year. The fee hike amid at covering regulatory costs will impact dispensaries, cultivation facilities, and manufacturers. Greed. The decision comes amid concerns from industry representation about the financial burden this increases will impose on small businesses. Despite opposition, state officials argue that the higher fees are necessary to maintain proper oversight of the growing industry. See, part of it's the government's fault. Why people can't pay their bills. Could there be a loophole or business development in selling recreational marijuana in Mississippi? This explains how. This article discusses whether the Mississippi band of Choctaw Indians might sell recreational marijuana. The tribe is exploring that possibility as it considers ways to boost revenue and support its community. However, the decision is complicated by federal regulation, the tribe's own legal and cultural considerations. The outcome will depend on how the tribe navigates these challenging and aligns its plans with both state and federal laws. Go talk to your other tribe friends in North Carolina and ask them how they're doing it, because they're being successful. So, Jersey City earned $240K from cannabis sales. Now, how will it spend it? Jersey City has collected a lot of green in both weed and currency. In the years since the first dispensary opened in stores, the city's 10 cannabis businesses have generated $12.2 million in revenue. More importantly to the city, they've generated $239,578 in city taxes, a figure that surprised the city council president. Sounds like the city we live in right now. The city we live in right now. A dispensary came in, proposed opening up a dispensary here. When they told them what they can generate and how much revenue, they doubted it. Like, no way.
No way.
Bah, 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 bah. Yeah, that's because you don't know what you don't know. Eyeing a crowded market, Vermont cannabis sellers wonder what's next. Vermont cannabis sellers is in a saturated market with increasing competition and changing regulations. Businesses are concerned about sustainability and profitability. Sellers are strategizing to different themselves, focusing on quality and consumer experience. I love it. Vermont. That is something wonderful. Quality and consumer experience. Not what, Mrs. Weedman? Profit and margin. Experience and quality. Wow. Who would have thunk it? Vermont, golf clap.
Now stick with it.
Yes. Additionally, there are discussions about potential regulatory changes and market dynamics that could impact the industry's future. Police, decades-old marijuana joint ID suspected. This is crazy. So listen to this, all right? So decades-old marijuana joint, decades. They found a joint decades ago. ID suspect in a 1989 uptown Charlotte, North Carolina hit and run.
Whoa.
Make sure you eat your weed, everybody. Don't leave it around. A marijuana joint preserved for 34 years in a police evidence room helped solve a 1989 hit-and-run death of Ruth Buchanan in Charlotte, North Carolina. After years of being unsolved, a DNA test on the joint led police to Herbert Stanback, who confessed to the crime while serving a prison sentence for another offense. Stanback was charged with the felony hit-and-run in June of 2024, bringing closure to the case and highlighted the role of preserved evidence and witness testimony to solve the long, cold case. Smoke break.
Smoke break.
Thank you, Ms. Weedman. There you go. Bubblegum. Despite 90% application failure, New York's weed sales reached 530 million. Governor Hochul reacts. The New York Office of Cannabis Management remains understaffed with 180 employees and plans to hire 65 more. Governor Kathy Hochul emphasized the success of New York's cannabis market. Really? That the success has been utterly fucking brutal. But because surpassing 500 million in sales, she stated, "Smoking hot is right." Oh my God. Ugh. Michigan switching to surprise state inspections for cannabis businesses. Great. Michigan is implementing surprise state inspections for cannabis businesses to ensure compliance with regulations and enhance oversight. Don't be that state. This change aims to address issues of accountability and prevent violations by increasing the frequency and unpredictability of inspections. The new policy is part of the state's efforts to maintain high standards in the cannabis industry to protect both consumers and the market integrity. Just go to the fucking store. Just tell them you're coming in. Better be right. Right? You don't need to fucking do a secret shop or bullshit. Oh my gosh. Massachusetts Cannabis Commissioner pushes for forensic audit of marijuana regulatory agency. Massachusetts Cannabis Commissioner is advocating for a forensic audit of the state's marijuana regulatory agency. The push for the audit aims to address concerns about the agency's operation and ensure transparency and accountability. The commissioner believes that through thorough examination will help identify and rectify any inefficiencies or misconduct, thereby improving the regulatory framework and restoring public confidence in the agency's oversight of the cannabis industry. Also in Massachusetts, do you know what used to be the most lucrative crop in Massachusetts?
Hemp?
No.
Massachusetts?
Yeah, we eat it during Thanksgiving.
Turkey?
No. Crop.
Corn?
No. Cranberries.
Yeah, Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ocean spray.
Ocean spray.
But guess what?
What?
Not anymore.
What? It's hemp.
It's now weed, outpacing the former top crop cranberries. The Pilgrims would be pissed off right now. but cannabis is now the most lucrative crop in Massachusetts.
Wow.
Lucrative. Crazy. Outpacing the old cranberry. You got to think,
the bogs,
though.
Cranberry bogs,
do you really think
right?
the younger... So here's the thing about cranberries. Mm-hmm. We're used to it because our parents had it at Thanksgiving. Their parents had it at Thanksgiving. It's been a tradition. I didn't like cranberry in a can, but your mom makes a fucking phenomenal cranberry sauce. Oh, my God. And, but it's huge, right? Mm-hmm. Cranberry juice, whatever. I forgot where I was going with this.
Younger generation.
Oh, the younger generation. Yes,
they don't really drink juices like that, do they?
That, but also, do you think they make cranberry sauce? Like you think our kids, they might take their grandmother's cranberry recipe. They might.
Yeah, because it's more of a chutney.
But
or
after
relish.
that generation, do you think really like cranberry is going to be a big thing?
I don't know.
Except for like vodka and cranberries, that's about it.
Is that even a thing anymore?
I think so, yeah. You got to make it for a cosmopolitan, too. You need cranberry juice. You need stuff. You need to make some cocktails. But I'm just saying, though, cranberry sauce more so.
Yeah.
I don't
it
see
could be a thing of the past.
Right. I was thinking about that when I was reading this, too. Could be more people aren't making cranberries.
People still make green bean casserole.
Ugh.
But I mean, that's like a recipe from like the 50s.
Though. Yeah. But how many people make a good green bean casserole now, though? Not many.
Well, there's new takes and twists on it that are pretty good.
Okay, you're right. So it could be a new takes and twist on cranberry sauce eventually.
Yeah.
You know, but I was just thinking about that going, maybe it's another reason why, because people aren't making cranberry, aren't using cranberries that much
buying
anymore.
it as much.
Yeah. So Arkansas medical marijuana sales down almost 4% through July. The Arkansas Department of Financial Administration reported 22 million in July sales with 6,467 pounds sold. That's a lot of pounds. All right, here's something depressing. Sorry, everybody. DEA schedules hearing on marijuana rescheduling, delaying reform until after the election. The DEA has scheduled a hearing, I think it's on December 2nd, on the proposal to reschedule marijuana, which could delay the final rule. The hearing aims to gather public input and expert testimony on the proposed changes. The delay extends the process of potentially reclassifying cannabis, impacting how it's regulated and researched. The DEA's decision will affect future policies and the legal status of marijuana at the federal level. Maybe they're just going to decide to just take it off altogether because of all the 60,000 comments they got.
Right.
You know, about 80% of them wanted it off descheduled, off the scheduling. They didn't just put it get it away.
Move it on.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's depressing that they're waiting now. So, we're Gen Xers, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. And millennials,
yeah,
they're pivoting their careers.
They are.
Where are they pivoting to, Mrs. Weedman?
To the cannabis industry.
Tell us about it.
Go figure. Since recreational weed sales went live across Ohio at the beginning of August, the Cleveland School of Cannabis's enrollment has been through the roof. Due to the increase in interest, CSC offers daily information sessions for potential new students. CSC added that though it has a wide range of ages and interests, recently it's seeing mainly interest and enrollment from adults aged 30 to 50. Maurice Butts is one of those students. He said he always had a passion for cannabis, and now that he can legally grow it, he wants to learn how to do it the right way. Butt added he's excited to start working in a field he truly cares about that can help people. As a state, we are still a baby to this, said Butts. We are brand new, and as this baby grows, it's going to get bigger and offer more jobs and opportunities for people to get into the industry. I love cannabis, so I'm doing what I love, and I'm getting better at it.
I love that.
Kent State started offering the course in January and is calling it a success. Since January, over 140 people have enrolled in the offered courses, and more than half of those enrolled have opted in for the agriculture track. Agriculture track. Wow. Hi. We were pleasantly surprised that we created this weed. Makes me like energetic and creative.
It said euphoric and creative.
Yeah, like I want to go do something.
Nice.
Yeah. We are pleasantly, but I can't read very well. We are pleasantly, or speak very well, surprised that we created these courses to try to help facilitate the training needed to help in this industry that will be growing in Ohio, said Eric Mansfield, Kent State University spokesperson. We had more than double the number of students we were expecting. Green flower courses take months to complete and can be customized depending on how much or how little an individual wants to take on. The School of Cannabis offers in-person courses as well as online. Both programs have the goal of getting students cannabis jobs in Ohio instead of those students moving to states that have more established recreational markets like Colorado or California. Individuals are like, hey, I can do this not only at home, but I could really look at the entire Midwest as an opportunity for me to do some things, said Kevin Green, vice president of the Cleveland School of Cannabis. I think for Ohio, we know that patients and adult users were already leaving the state and going to Michigan. We know that for a fact was happening consistently. Now all that energy is going to be spent and invested back home.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. I mean, I went to school for it. Mm-hmm. You know,
yeah.
It's helped me with my career.
Yeah. I mean, it's a full-on industry, so there should be classes for it.
I mean, also doing the podcast too. I felt it was necessary for me to go to school to learn more. I mean, I read a lot of books, I read a lot of articles, but I felt like I needed to go to learn more and to learn from some professionals. If I could have afforded to go to the Ganja one, I would go to that. If I can afford now to go to Oaksterdam, I'd go to Oaksterdam. I to learn more and just to keep on staying educated and learning more and getting better at the craft. You know, so you can talk about it more and more, and just because it's interesting as hell. And as more research comes out too, what's cool about it is the research we don't even know. There's so much that's going to be coming.
There's so much to know.
Yeah, there's so much to learn. So I can't wait, especially like more cannabinoids we get to learn. That's like great. More terpenes, more of how to grow this plant, different ways to grow this plant, just the benefits of this plant, the health, the everything. It's just so much fun. And if you're into it, you know, and when you read that article, I love cannabis. It makes me happy because you have to love it because it's not any. Going out and talking to bud tenders across the states, I've done, and trainings I've done. Across the states, I've talked to people about cannabis and done trainings. The first thing I always say is, you know, when you're in the cannabis industry, it is not an easy industry to be in. It's a lot of work. It's not glamorous or glorious. When you get home and you smoke your weed that you earned, that's glamorous and glorious. But working in the industry is hard. It's hard work. Whether you're at the top of the food chain or the bottom of the food chain, you work your fucking ass off. You know, and long hours, especially the retail side of things and the cultivation side of things. Your long hours, long days, especially during harvest season. You're grinding, you're trimming, you're packaging. I mean, these folks work really hard. And then you go over to the sales side of things, and the people that sell the product are on the road constantly, on the road. The brand ambassadors that are out there, some of the most important people in the industry. Helping sell the product, being the face of the brand, going out and having to put a smile on their face when they don't want to put a smile on their face because they're tired, they're hurting, they might be sick. They going through some issues of their own, but they have to go out there every day and put a smile on. It's not easy. And for the money they make, it's very not easy sometimes when you're barely making $20 an hour and you're not getting mileage and you're growing all around the state because you love the plant. And it's hard work. And then you have the people working in the retail aspect of it, all the bud tenders, some of the most important people in the industry, because they make or break a brand. And they ought to be thanked every day. If you're a brand and you're selling to, and those bud tenders are selling your brand, you need to thank them. And you need to fucking help them out as much as you possibly can, because they deserve it. They work, most dispensaries are open 365 days a year or 364 days a year. They don't close holidays. They're away from their families. They work long hours, sometimes doubles. People call off sick. They cover each other's ass. They're doing events. They're fucking running around doing inventory, putting stuff on the menus, talking.
And they're not making commission.
No commission. They make tips.
Right.
They make tips, so it's kind of a commission, but they don't get a lot of tips.
No, it's not a guarantee. Like,
right.
Yeah.
It's
if they had a sales, like if you had a floor sales job like that back in like the 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, you're working.
And you were working on, 3% commission of your sales, 5% commission of all your sales. Then all this knowledge that you're sharing and you're teaching people and you're helping, like, that's a lot of impact for an hourly rate.
Do that. The big department stores, all those people doing the women that used to work in the perfumeries and the jewelry area, they were making 3-4%. And they were making very low salary or hourly, but they were banking on that Christmas holiday season. There is a couple of dispensaries I know that do employee profit sharing. There is some. Cool. That's awesome that they do that.
Like a co-op. Why aren't there co-op dispensaries?
They can.
Where everybody owns a piece of it. And the more we do, the more we all get. Right? Like, it
could be somebody that. I mean, there's ESOPs, employee-owned companies too, that they profit share. I mean, it's a little bit of money. It's not a ton, but it's something. But it is, like I said, this industry is for everyone. It's not just for one. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
And
it's a very broad industry.
Yes, and there's a lot going on at all times. The transporters, I forgot to mention them. They're getting your product from one to the other. Some of those guys and gals and thems and the hims and hers, and they work 10, 12, 15-hour days. Some of them. They're driving. Some of them are driving from Metropolis, Illinois, all the way back up to Chicago. That's a 6.5, 7-hour drive. They got to deliver to the dispensaries down there. So, I mean, the states are big, and they might have 3 trucks, and some of these guys and gals and thems and he's and hims and hers are fucking working their asses off. You have the people at the facility making sure stuff's got to be clean. It's got to be dialed in. It's just so, it's a very big industry, and you don't realize it unless you're in it. So all you out there that work in the industry, teach the industry, learn from the industry, respect the industry, love the industry, because it gets you what you want. Is it perfect? Fuck no.
It's evolving.
Perfect at all.
Right.
It's made so many mistakes, and we've let so many people in that shouldn't be in this industry. They don't deserve to be in this industry, and we've let the government in this industry and fucked it all up even worse. My opinion. But it's a good one. So thank you all out there who are in the industry working their fucking asses off. You are important, and I love you for it. So international news. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there, but I love the industry. International news. Germany's President Steinmeier authorizes legalization regulating cannabis impaired driving. King of Morocco pardons over 4,800 cannabis farmers. Bring me that Moroccan hash, please, someone. King Mohammed, hook a brother up, man. Send me some hash. Pardons over 4,800 cannabis farmers. They need that.
That's cool.
Well, because Morocco is going to be one of the largest exporters of cannabis here, probably in the next month. No, but really.
Where will they be able to export to?
Oh, all over the world. Germany's going to probably be one of their biggest importers.
So there are other countries that are open to inter-country.
We're so fucking behind.
Wow.
Canada's exporting so much weed overseas. It's crazy. So
wow.
Morocco's going to be huge. Oh, send me some hash, please. Londoners warned against scanning QR codes advertising cannabis websites. Well, if you legalized it in there, maybe people won't have scanned QR codes. In London, police are investigating QR codes found on posters advertising cannabis. These codes direct users to illegal drug sales. The authorities are concerned about ease of access to drugs, such as opioids, is that what you're saying, those kind of drugs, through such digital methods, and are working to remove advertisements and identity those responsible. This move is part of a broader efforts to curb illegal drug distribution and ensure public safety. Legalize cannabis in your country. So Canadian cannabis sales down 2% in June. Canadian cannabis sales have continued their mixed performance through June 2024, seeing another dip in total sales, but some states are showing resilience. According to the latest figure from Statistics Canada, fell 6.6% year over year to $405.7 million in June 2024, and just under 2% from $413.6 million in May. That's international news. We've seen this entertainer a few times.
Yeah.
And twice, actually. Once at a beer circus we went to, a craft beer circus, and second at a venue here in Chicago.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, does she throw a party.
It is a party.
Kills it. Big Frida kills it.
Yeah.
She kills it. So tell us about this new product that she launched.
Yeah, Big Frida launches cannabis product in unexpected market. Celebrities continue collaborating in the weed space, whether it's through endorsed products or marketing push collaborations. Zoe Kravitz shared a pre-roll and lighter collaboration with Pure Beauty for her directorial debut film Blink Twice last week. But that's not all. Big Frida and Crescent Canna are taking a more energized approach with their new Wobble, sparkling THC energy drink. Wobble is the perfect drink for turning up the dance floor. It'll make you feel good and keep the party going, Big Frida said in a press release. Wobble features strawberry and pineapple flavors along with 10 milligrams of THC and 100 milligrams of caffeine. The nutrition label marks the can as 2 servings. The beverage is vegan, low-calorie, alcohol-free, and contains U.S.-grown hemp flower. Crescent Canna makes the testing certificate of analysis readily available online, and the products are registered with the Louisiana Department of Health. Big Frida is an American rapper known for helping popularize New Orleans bounce and is often called the Queen of Bounce. This is not her first foray into cannabis, though. Frida launched the curated cannabis collection Royal Bud in 2022. The Royal Bud line is available in select California stores, but Wobble can be purchased online and shipped nationwide. Working with Big Frida has been a dream come true, said Crescent Canna CEO Joe Garrity. There are a lot of energy drinks out there, but only one has Big Diva energy. Crescent Canna is a hemp-derived cannabis brand with a focus on affordability and transparency. Wobble is available nationwide, and Big Frida is streaming everywhere people get music. Might as well try them out together, as the Queen intended.
Big Frida, if you're ever in Chicago. If anybody knows Big Frida listens to our show.
It is quite a show.
Go see her show. But Big Frida, if you're ever in Chicago here or Illinois, we would love to have some Wobble and some New Orleans bounce in the house, in the studio.
Oh, my God, that'd
You and
be
your
fun.
crew come and hang out. We'd love to get you on the show and talk some shit, get stoned, and drink some of your Wobble. So if anybody knows her, tell her, please come to the studio here.
Yeah.
We Man 420 Chronicles would love to have. This is something
I think we have a poster.
We do.
We do have a Big Frida right over our head.
Yeah. We sponsored a show, the company I was working for at the Concord, and Big Frida, and who was the other? Who was the other
Bangers.
band? Yes, Tank and the Bangers, right?
The Headbang Tour.
Yes, that was a while
Tank
ago.
and the Bangers.
Yeah,
oh my God, it was wild.
God.
It was such a fun, high energy show.
Oh yeah, we didn't need no Wobble then. It was just high. We were high as high.
But I
as
think
could
it's
be.
appropriate that that she has
100%
an energy drink because she is all out energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's 5 musical artists cannabis lovers love.
Okay.
What would be your one? Just give me one, and I'll go through this list.
Snoop.
Snoop? Okay, perfect. Snoop is not on this list, though.
Okay.
So, it's okay. That's yours.
Should I say another?
No.
Okay.
It's fine. Unless you have somebody you can pop real quick.
It would be like Jerry Garcia.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's on there, right?
Yeah, no.
What?
It's no secret that many of the world's greatest artists throughout history have indulged in mind or mood-altering substances from time to time. It was in those moments of relaxation that many new ideas, visions, and innovations bubbled up the surface on their consciousness. Just for fun, here are a few quotes from famous musicians about their relationships with cannabis. It's 1,000 times better than whiskey. It's an assistant. It's a friend. Louis Armstrong. Marijuana helped me write Pet Sounds. Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys. When you smoke the herb, it reveals you to yourself. Bob Marley. So, if ever I need some clarity, or quantum leap in my own consciousness, or quantum leap in terms of writing something or getting an answer, it's a quick way for me to get it. Alanis Morissette. Cannabis Now has done many interviews with musicians who have opened up about their role of cannabis, or lack thereof. In the creative process, here are some of this writer's favorites. Okay? Wiz Khalifa. I love Wiz. Has 11 platinum plaques and wildly popular signature strain to his name. He also has a lot to say about the future of cannabis legalization, which he believes is inevitable. In an interview with Cannabis Now, he talks about his firsthand experience with the materialized drug war and accurately predicts the success of Proposition 64. For 30 years now, the Flaming Lips, and you like the Flaming Lips a lot, have garnered a reputation for being one of the most delightful, eccentric, and psychedelic bands in American history. Yet, considering their trippy soundscapes, trippier album artwork, and mind-bending forays into film and live performances, it may come as a surprise to many that the frontman Wayne Cohn is not much of a cannabis consumer.
How about Primus?
No, not on the list.
Oh, jeez.
Gogol Bordello, frontman Eugene Hutz, talks about headlining the Emerald Cup, his hopes for the future, and how live performances can become a spiritual experience. Cannabis Now caught up with Hutz a few days before Gogol's Emerald Cup performance for a wide-range discussion of cannabis legalization, spirituality, and human integration. A Memphis, Tennessee-based MC, Marco Pav, talks about his favorite strains, the political atmosphere on cannabis in the home state, and now the two intersect through his music. Punk group Screaming Females trades mixtapes for weed. The New Jersey trio shares how they got their name, the efforts they've undertaken to get weed on tour, and the pleasures of brushing teeth while high. That's their list of their influential.
That's fair.
Yeah, but you said 3 that are
like I was just thinking like generalized.
Okay,
just so generalized. Like most people would put these on. These names would come up for most people.
Okay, so are they yours? Give me. So you said Snoop. Snoop's always been one of your favorites.
Yeah.
So give me.
Bob Marley's always been one of my favorites.
Okay, so that's 2.
Jimmy Cliff.
3.
Pink Floyd.
4.
One
more.
Like, how about Closey? Like
newer.
some EDM.
Okay, newer. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, nice. That's a good list.
But it's okay.
It's a good list.
It's decent.
It's
What would you say?
No, that's it. I want to hear you.
Oh, you don't even want to give yours now?
I don't know. It's so tough.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's so tough for me with music because I love music.
Yeah.
But I don't always know names of songs. I don't always know names of bands. I can't remember. You know, I mean, I do know, but I mean, gosh, I don't have a number one because there's just so many I like, you know. But
like ones that you would particularly like if you were high, like if you're stoned, like the environment that you like to be within. You know, like a
Beastie Boys.
Mood.
One of my. I'll give you just this one because I'll give you just one. The Beastie Boys, but they did a specific album that I can listen to over and over, especially if I'm on psychedelics or if I'm on cannabis or on all of it. The end sounds from Way Out. Fucking just them mastering their instruments, just sitting there and just the only voices you ever hear is when they get the monks in the one song. There is no other singing at all. It's just them just jamming and jamming and jamming. And it's just like, it puts you in a trance. And I can play that. It never gets old. So that would probably be my number one on a cannabis experience. Now, of all bands, it's a different story. But for an album or that,
that was obscure.
Well, that's just
pretty good.
Pretty good, right?
Call. Yeah. you got points there.
Thanks. I like it when I get some points.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
You got anything else to say?
Labor Day weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Get your feet in some water, get some burgers and dogs on the grill, stuff your face, fart, smoke some joints,
Did you just say fart?
Yeah, because you're going to eat a bunch of burgers and dogs. So you're probably going to fart.
Such a mild thing.
So, fart. Rudy tooty.
Oh, God. What else?
I don't.
How about this?
What? Tell me.
Everybody
Help
out there,
out.
everybody out there that's been supporting 8 Decades the last couple of weeks. Thank you.
Yeah.
From Mrs. Weedman and Mr. Weedman, we really appreciate it. Thank you for the support.
You're so much better at coming up with more thoughtful things to say in these situations. I'm like talking about farts and you like get the words out.
That's okay.
So thanks.
I thought about it later on, so I just want to thank everybody.
I appreciate it. Yes.
I want to thank everybody that's been supporting us lately.
I agree.
By you supporting 8 Decades, you help this show. You're basically an investor in this show. So we appreciate you supporting. That means we can keep on doing the show every week. By you supporting Mrs. Weedman's business, it supports us here, and we can keep on putting the show together. So thank you, everybody that's been supporting us. We really appreciate you very much. Please send some pictures of you using the stuff and send it to Mrs. Weedman. We'll post it and tag you on our Instagram or throw a shout out to you too.
Yes,
on the show.
Sure.
So we appreciate you so much, everybody out there, and everybody out there in the world. We need some peace. We need some love. We need just we need to stop and take a breath.
Be kind. Spread peace. Get with the earth.
Yeah.
Find your balance,
Yep.
Just be good.
Find your way. Go live some life.
We need some calm. So be someone who brings some calm
I'm not
to
looking
the
forward
table.
to the next 69 days.
Yeah.
It's just, God, I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway, out there, we love you. Be kind to one another. What Mrs. Weedman just said. We love you out there. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.